Thank you all. Well, last year we were in Wexford, now Dublin. The last Wexford-Dublin fixture I was at, Wexford played quite good hurling. I think they scored 22 points to Dublin's 2 goals 14. But I'm willing to concede one victory for Dublin. This first ever one-member, one-vote conference has an even larger attendance than Wexford. And we have many issues, many serious issues to discuss. Young people, our friends, our children, our grandchildren. The next generation is the first generation in 100 years to inherit a world in a worse condition than it was for their parents and grandparents. We've only 12 years left to prevent extreme climate change, according to the world's greatest experts. It's the moral imperative of our age. And the top 1% of people take half of the world's wealth, when many young people don't earn enough to buy their own home or to even have a decent quality of life. So many problems. It might seem overwhelming, bigger than what any one person can handle. On our own, what can we do to stop climate change? We can reduce, reuse, recycle, but all of those efforts seem so inadequate. When we walk out our front doors and see an economy that keeps producing pollution and waste, there are so many overwhelming issues. Not just economic inequality and climate change, but other issues that deeply affect us, like cancer, heart disease, depression, anxiety, drug addiction, poverty itself, and homelessness. All of these problems need to be solved. But there is a feeling of powerlessness. As individuals, we can't change the system. Our personal power is too small to change the world. But we are not alone. Hundreds of people in this room ready to build a new republic. Tens of thousands of people, trade unionists, working together, know what they can achieve in a common purpose. Hundreds of thousands of volunteers and campaigners know that real social and environmental progress is possible when we work together. All the great achievements of our state have been collective efforts. We built homes. We founded state industries. We provided hospitals and schools for all. And we can do it again. Working together. It's not all about the state. The GAA and other strong national sporting organizations have sustained communities. The churches took action on homelessness and disability when the state wasn't engaged. Ní neart go cur le chéile. But we have lost some of our ability to work together as one people. Democratic politics is not working as it should. Only 1 in 5 of our people say they trust politicians. Many voted for anti-political candidates who give voice to people's frustrations but offer no solutions. I don't just mean the current government and the current Dáil. Democratic traditions across the world are being challenged. Some nations have fallen for the lure of the strong man, and that normally is a man, coming to power and dismissing the rule of law and indeed basic human rights. Too many people are giving up. They focus on their own personal challenges, having enough money, a place to live, personal life goals. But we need collective solutions to our shared problems. Individualism is not new. Durkheim recognized the threat of societies losing common values. Marx warned of social alienation and a breakdown in solidarity. Every generation has to work hard to maintain social cohesion and to argue for the common good. So the onus is on us, politicians and activists, to bring people together. And the way to do that is to make it clear that we need collective solutions to the major problems that confront us all. So let's start by agreeing our basic aims. We will not allow people to suffer homelessness, depression, or chronic pain because the services they need are not available. We will make them available. Labour will build a truly responsive system of government, restored town councils, properly financed local government, a well-functioning Dáil and Seanad, and stronger democracy at the European Union level. Labour has consistently championed decency, justice, and equality. We don't want poor houses. We want everyone to have a secure home. We don't want handouts. We want to eradicate poverty. 100 years ago, Labour asserted the right of the people to sovereignty over all the wealth and all the wealth-producing processes. We do so again now. Private property must take second place to the public's welfare. We want a market economy. We want enterprise, but it must be well regulated and socially conscious. We want a just transition to a sustainable economy. Our modern socialist vision of the market economy mimics the obvious successes of Sweden and Denmark and the Netherlands. And Irish voters are not allergic to socialism. Our president, Michael D. Higgins, is not just a Labour man and a trade unionist. He's a socialist. People from across the political divide admire Michael D.'s integrity, his intellectual vigor, and his warm humanity. His socialism won 700,000 first preference votes in 2011. And despite the lower turnout, the people of Ireland backed him again with more than 820,000 first preferences last week. Mar sin, tá sé léirithe ag Michael D. Go bhfuil takeíocht trom chúiseach I ngach dáil ceantar, do luachana fortaí an Lochtaimbre agus do smuointe fortaí an Lochtaimbre. Ní léon dáil ceantar ann, nach raibh níos lú ná 10,000 vóta aige. If the whole Labour Party could command that level of support, we'd have Ireland's first Labour-led government. Now that's a dream worth striving for. But why? Why support Labour? Labour in Ireland has always been outnumbered by Conservatives, nationalists and populists. But we lead on the issues. We make the arguments. The rest eventually catch up. We were outvoted by every other member of Dáil Éireann on the bank guarantee. We were still right. Labour and other progressives were outnumbered 2-1 when the 8th Amendment was put into the Constitution 35 years ago. This year, at last, that was reversed. Labour has always delivered real social progress. Workers' rights, women's rights, gay rights, reduced poverty, public ethics. No Labour politician has ever been charged with corruption. What other party leader can say that? Labour has always led on better government. We champion transparency in our public agencies, and we will do more to ensure that all public servants are fully accountable, especially concerning women's health. I was delighted to honour today 3 incredible campaigners, Vicky Phelan, Stephen Teep and Lorraine Walsh. For over 100 years, Labour has led step-by-step reform towards a better republic, a new republic. I want to salute everyone in this room who have given countless days, evenings and weekends advancing our vision of a better society. The current Fine Gael government is not delivering. They're driven by the news cycle, not by ideas. They're failing in housing, in health, and on climate change. They were gifted an economy well on the way to recovery, but they're squandering this opportunity to achieve real progress. Confidence in supply isn't working. Fianna Fáil go through the motions of opposing the government, but then they turn their backs and abstain on every crucial vote. What would they do differently, really? The only economic goal Fianna Fáil has is to persuade people to forget that it was them who ruined our country. Labour has put forward what we would do differently. We spent the last couple of days doing that in detail. But Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael have made it clear they would prefer to keep things as they are. They won't fundamentally change our country for the better. Sinn Féin are untested. Their leadership has ducked the big issues and the big decisions. They've stayed out of Stormont and Westminster at a time when it matters most to the people of this country. For some, they are a credible defender of working class interests. But for many others, Sinn Féin continues to glorify IRA terrorism and has failed to break with the past. Their treatment of Maria Cahill, here present, and the exodus of councillors due to bullying and intimidation shows that they have a long way to go. Labour is a party of progress. We want economic justice, we want action on the climate, we want social equality and real personal freedom for all. And we are alert to new public concerns. Everyone needs access to knowledge and opportunities through the internet. Labour would use state agencies to deliver rural broadband. Labour would introduce new digital rights for privacy and for freedom from abuse online. Labour is a broad family of progressive thinkers. The Democratic Socialist Party joined us in 1990. Democratic Left joined in 1999. Each alliance has brought new thinking into Labour. Even on our worst day, the diversity within Labour gives us the strength to punch above our weight. And Labour is not alone. We're not the only progressives in Ireland. On many issues, we agree with the Green Party, the Social Democrats, and Progressive Independents, some from the Labour family. They share our analysis. We often vote together. We've cooperated on new laws and on new policies. Last week's exit poll showed that the combined appeal of our policies would yield at least 1 in 7 votes nationwide for progressive parties, 1 in 5 in Dublin and among younger people. The people will always need progressive doers, those who will make work to ensure that lives are improved, who are capable of making real change. Labour has always been a party of doers. I know that Labour will come out of the next local elections, European and Dáil elections, stronger. Our candidates include many first-timers, a new generation of Labour politicians willing to serve, alongside seasoned veterans who know how to get things done. Young and old, women and men from different walks of life. It's a strong team that I am proud to lead. But we might not win every seat we target. And if there is a constituency where we can't have Labour, let's not have more Conservatives, nationalists and populists. Let's have other progressives. As many progressive voices in the Dáil and in local government as we can. To maximise the progressive voice of the next election, I will call on all Labour voters to give their next preferences to candidates from the Green Party and the Social Democrats and to Progressive Independents. Because we know that only a progressive platform for economic equality and climate justice will deliver a new republic for all our people. And why is that? What's so special about our viewpoint? We alone see the state as the means to achieve economic, social, and environmental progress. As we know all too well, Ireland is perhaps the only European country never to have had a left-wing majority in Parliament. And it shows. Our incomplete public health system with its state funding of private hospitals, private ownership of most of our schools, even though it is the taxpayer who built them and pays the teachers, and whole areas of public services that are insufficient. Not least, the lack of state-built, affordable housing for those on middle incomes. But there are challenges in using the state for the public good. Too many public managers draw their ideas solely from the private sector. Too much public money is spent on private consultancy instead of developing our own social and environmental analysis. And quite simply, some public managers no longer see their primary role as serving the public. We need to take back the state. We need to take the state back as an instrument of social progress. We need a stronger state to reinforce workers' rights, to force rogue employers to meet minimum standards of decency. We need a strong state to regulate private rents and build the 80,000 homes that we promised over the next 5 years. We've identified where we would get 16 billion to do just that. And above all, we need the state to lead on climate action. We can take back control of the state. We would put expertise for housing back into local government through regional housing executives. We're committed to creating a single-tier, publicly owned healthcare system. We want to create a coherent state approach to social care and disability, working with community and voluntary bodies. And we want a state-led drive to make Ireland carbon neutral in our lifetime. We need a new economic model then. We would create an economic equality agency to understand the causes of poverty and disadvantage, to provide a blueprint for a genuine new economic model, one that serves all of society and leaves no one behind. We cannot remain over-dependent on the multinationals. It's time Ireland acted responsibly. That's why Labour supports a digital services tax so the giants of the internet pay their fair share of tax. The next great transformation of our economy has to move us away from the insecure reliance on foreign investment. We need decent jobs, sustainable jobs, in dynamic Irish businesses. The state, the private sector, and the voluntary sector are mutually supportive, mutually interdependent. But when the state is weak, people are routinely left to fend for themselves in a competition where the strong exploit the weak. That leads not only to a weaker economy, but to a damaged society. We see that. We see it in Ireland today. Our new republic will be built on social solidarity. The private market will never deliver affordable housing, decent childcare, and fair health systems. The state must work alongside the market to ensure people's essential needs are met. To give just one example of this vision, the private market gives us a low-wage childcare system, but state-led preschool education would make our children ready for the future and break the cycle of poverty. We want a new Ireland. Our first priority is for everyone on the island of Ireland to have a decent standard of living. That's our promise to everyone. It's our promise to Northern Unionists too, and for the diverse new communities in Ireland, including those of our people denied their citizenship because of who their parents are. Labour's vision of a new Ireland is not any kind of final victory for nationalism. Our vision is victory for inclusive, tolerant, diverse Ireland, an Ireland of people of all faiths and none, an Ireland that cherishes its minorities and preserves its traditions. I want to see greater dialogue with all sides on the future of this island, north and south, which is why we'd recall the New Ireland Forum. And let me say this too. If some within the SDLP do merge with Fianna Fáil, Labour and others will step in. We will ensure that a pluralist option in the Labour tradition is available for voters in Northern Ireland. Labour is presenting an incredible team of candidates in the upcoming elections. Excellent contenders are already in the field, some of them here gathered. Whatever election comes next, we're ready. In advance of the next general election, we will publish a list of core red line demands. Labour will not support any government that does not meet each and every one of our red lines. I encourage you to meet our candidates, listen to what they have to offer to your areas and in response to your concerns. Help them and help us to build a new republic of affordable homes, health equality, and genuinely free education. A new republic with decent work for all, with real social protection, and where the greatest challenge of our time, climate change, is taken seriously by the state. That is what Labour offers. Solutions, not rhetoric. Unity, not division. Working together. Lekela, a simple notion, the core of Labour. We can and we will build a better future, a new republic. Together, let's get on with the job.